Hello, and welcome to Quest in Show, a play podcast where each episode a new adventurer steps up to fix a broken kingdom. I'm the host and game master James, and who's joining us to embark on today's adventure?
Hi, I'm M. Short for Emily.
Hi, Emily M. Hello. How are you doing today?
Well, about as good as I sound.
Oh, that's you don't sound too bad. So I think this will go all right. For the people at home, what would they know you best for?
I worked at a 7-Eleven for a couple of years, so
Mm-hmm.
any 7-Eleven fans, if you've been to a 7-Eleven.
We got quite a few 7-Eleven fans in the audience, I'm pretty sure.
That's good. I've also, if any people have watched hit YouTuber sensation, Tess Snakerer, I've been in his streams a few times. You might also know the approximately 5,000 projects I've started and then never finished or posted on the internet. But, any psychic viewers or viewers from the distant future looking back might know me from those.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Commentary Comms is part of those projects.
Oh yeah,
right?
commentary comms. I'm unfortunately in commentary comms. Yeah.
You say unfortunately.
I hope we don't have any comms fans in the audience. I hate the fans, and that's why every time I make a comms video, I do it as a form of punishment towards the people who choose to watch it. Personally.
Well, they need something, I suppose. So
yeah.
Cool. Well, I guess I will put links to those things in the description below then. But I feel like you probably already know a little bit about what's happening today, just because there's been previous episodes of this. But I'll assume if there's one or two people at home who have decided to hop onto this podcast because either M's on it or they've seen the name and they want to go, what's the latest episode like? I will give a very brief rundown of what Quest and Show is, which is, before we began recording, M came up with a character who will be tasked with solving this episode's issue at hand, and over the course of this adventure, I'll describe settings, characters, and situations, and then it will be M's job to essentially tell me how they'd like to proceed and their actions. Most of the time, these actions won't be challenged. However, there may be opportunities where they'll want to take the advantage, say get a drop on somebody or parlay for a better deal, or times where they'll have to defend themselves, either through a little bluffing or combat. During these occasions, they'll be asked to roll 2 6-sided dice, and for each small advantage that they may have going into a situation, such as their gear or special abilities, they add 1 onto the final result. Inversely, if they take any harm during the adventures, such as they end up bloodied or winded, we'll remove 1 from the final result if it factors into it. Essentially, though, high numbers lead to great results, and low numbers... what do you think happens if you roll a low number in this game?
Probably something much more true to my real life experience, i.e. failure.
Reality hits hard, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not good. And the rules and system are linked in the post below. M, you have dice, right?
Yes, I do. I found them from a Clue board game.
Ooh, how exciting. Do you want to roll 2d6 now to see
Sure.
whether luck is going to smile on this game or not?
9. That's better than I was rolling earlier.
That's better than most people I've asked to roll so far. So, yeah, that seems pretty good, but with some complications, which I think nicely describes Quest and Show anyways. So, no, that works out pretty well. Cool.
I'm gonna be honest, I rolled like 10 times before we started here, and I got above a 6 twice.
Ooh, okay.
So, this is optimistic.
This is optimistic. But I don't know, I'm feeling pretty good about this. I think we should be alright. So,
Yeah.
with that out of the way, is there anything you'd like to say before we get into the adventure proper?
Subscribe to Hot Slider and slap that bell.
Like Em said, please subscribe to Hot Slider, not not hard to say.
Yeah, stop by White Castle, get some hot sliders.
Sliders, yeah, absolutely. All right. Oh, by the way, even though I've said this to everybody, and we kind of are seeing the end of this adventure, but I'll say it anyways. Keep in mind, your actions aren't just going to affect your adventure. They will also affect anything that's going to come afterwards, whether that's another episode or whether there may be future adventures in Trottelera. Much like all the episodes that came beforehand are going to affect this adventure. So, do keep that in mind in your decision making.
I can't wait. I'm gonna leave my mark on this world like fingers scratching on a chalkboard.
Excellent. So with that, let's move to a land out of time and out of place, as our scene begins with a vision of the kingdom of Trottelera. Now, Trottelera has had a very interesting couple of weeks since Prince Pret has sat on the throne, and that doesn't seem to be ending any time soon. And it's in times like this that we could really do with a hero to come along and save the day, which I think we might have this session, or at least we have somebody who might look like a hero on the surface level. So, tell me about Captain Mario Q Godot. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes, you did.
Excellent.
So, yeah. Mario Q Godot. He's not really a captain, but he calls himself one. Right. People think he is, not necessarily clear on captain of what, but some sort of captain.
Yeah.
He's known throughout the land as a tremendously famous and successful and charismatic adventurer who saved lots of people from lots of horrible fates.
Of course.
In reality, he's actually a moderately competent con man who was just really in debt to the mafia. And his strategy he came up with for getting out of debt was faking a horrible monster, bandits or something, burning down the fields of the village. And for profit, he posed as a great hero to stop the fields getting burned down, which he was doing himself. Got the money, paid off the mafia, and the mafia was so impressed by his utter ruthlessness and disregard for human life and how much money he made that they've just been blackmailing him to continue this basic format of a scheme endlessly. If he tries to back out, they reveal what he's done and he will surely be hung. But so he's just, been failing upwards and has now become a world-renowned hero and is quite terrified as he's had to go on a few too many actual real adventures now and has almost died pretty much every time. And just desperately wants a way out.
He can't really get out of it though, can he? Because
yeah. Every time he tries, he's tried announcing he's going to retire, but then that mafia don just shows up and they threaten to reveal things and, maybe break a kneecap or two before he's inevitably hung.
Oh, no.
Or hanged. Hung or hanged. I always forget.
So what would you say his expertises are?
Well, he's definitely, big on deception. Obviously, he's a con man.
That seems to be his core character trait.
Yeah.
By the sounds of things.
Yeah. But, being a con man isn't just about making someone believe something. It's also about getting them to do something,
Sure.
Give you money. So that would be persuasion, too, would be another expertise.
Absolutely.
But the one thing that you really need to pretend to be a great swashbuckling hero isn't so much skill or bravery, but you need to do flashy acrobatics, give the people a couple flips, maybe swing on a rope, do
absolutely.
some sword tricks.
Why walk into a room when you can forward flip into it? Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's also useful when you're not a very good adventurer but need to be skilled at, running away because you're not a real adventurer.
Yeah, absolutely. What's his special something?
So, in his time as a con man and as a unqualified adventurer, he's had to really learn how to, make traps, engineer traps, whether just tripwire stuff or, set something up to like maybe a bit of dynamite, or
Yeah,
even just a simple bear trap or even a pit under some leaves. He's not really good in a fight, so he needs to find ways to avoid fights that use his deception and persuasion more appropriately.
absolutely. So he's pretty good at building traps, then, by the sounds of things.
Yes.
That's cool. And what are two things that he can't leave without before going on an adventure? What's his loadout?
So, two things. One thing is just, and I went back and forth on this a couple times, but just, adventuring equipment. Any
Sure.
adventure just needs the basics, rope, grappling hook, knife, stuff like that.
Sure.
He also has his just has a bit of explosive equipment, a bit of like, charge, wire, dynamite, things like that you couldn't just get. Most of his money he's made from adventuring that the mafia let him keep. He's put into this for when he really needs to,
Get
either
away
make an
out.
entrance or an exit.
I can see that. Well, that's cool. It sounds like he needs everything really to help him out with what today's problem is. What is today's problem, though? Well, you have been invited to the Kingdom of Trottelera to speak directly with Prince Pratt. What I will ask is, though, obviously, is Godot is in debt to the Mafia. Is this something that they have pushed him into, or is this something that he has decided himself that he's going to pursue?
I think they pushed him into it. Like, I imagine the prince reached out and he was going to just quietly act like he never saw the invitation, but the mafia saw this offer from royalty and was, nobody, you're taking this job. Have
So,
fun.
the Mafia isn't totally dug tight into Trottelera yet. There is a little bit of organised crime within the
That's
city.
good.
But it isn't something that is in control from this monolithic crime family that you have become a part of. However, seeing that the prince is in need of some work done, that would mean that if you do this work correctly, then the prince will be in debt to you, and by extension, this crime family. So there is a good way for them to get their feet into Trottelera, which obviously does have a lot of benefits to it. It has got, it's quite a keen exporter. It's known quite well for its material-rich landscape. So what crime family wouldn't want to put their hands on that? They haven't told you exactly what the job is, though. All they said to you is to turn up, make friendly with him, and do whatever he tells you to. So, Godot, you find yourself moving into Trottelera City, the capital of the Kingdom of Trottelera. And let me ask you, how often have you been here, or how much do you know about it?
Not too much. Godot is somewhat worldly, but in the sense that he's seen a lot, but he also doesn't retain much that isn't, to his direct immediate benefit. He was not a terribly educated man before he came into this life.
Okay, well, I will give him some very brief details then, which is essentially, it used to be King Brennan and Queen Manon that sat on the throne, but for the past few months at this point, it has been Prince Pratt who has been the ruler of Trottelera, and you haven't been the only person that he's asked to help out with stuff. He has seemed to, most royal duties have seemed to be delegated to anyone who applies for his Adventurers Wanted scheme, exactly, which has led to a couple of funny little changes within the kingdom as a result. And yeah, pretty much it is a great opportunity for anybody who wants to take advantage of both the prince and the kingdom of Trottelera to do so. But you make your way
Taking
up.
advantage is what we do best.
Yes, exactly. You head up to the gates. You introduce yourself. Do you have a particular introduction for yourself?
Not particularly. I think Godot's pretty nervous, to be frank, and he's like still trying to think as he's approaching if there's any way he can like get out of whatever this job is, and mostly just like has his fingers crossed that it's not gonna be dangerous for once, is I think what's occupying his mind.
You are trying to like count your eggs on this essentially, which is, well, I'm in the kingdom of Trottel. I'm in the city of Trottelera Kingdom. It's not a very big place. They could probably find me very quickly if I tried to hide here.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty well known guy, so people will have seen me. There will be eyewitnesses for where I am, so I can't really cut my I can't really cut loose yet. So I might as well go forward with whatever this is, and maybe potentially the prince may be able to give me some kind of protection. But you make your way to the front gates, you say who you are, and they let you through to Trottelera Castle. This big old stone lantern lighthouse kind of thing, which throughout the entire kingdom is a beacon that everybody can see. And as you head on in, you go
Wow.
down the marble halls and you see along the side paintings of the great Hemlock family, starting at King Uriel and then they get slightly smaller, then slightly rounded, then slightly taller, then slightly thicker, until we end up at Prince Pratt. He is in the midst of sleeping on his chair.
Is that in the portrait, or is he just?
Somebody is painting a portrait of him sleeping in his chair. He is currently sleeping in the chair. He looks exhausted.
All right, so Mario, Captain Godot here, sees a prince, and it's like, all right, well, it's game time. So walking up here, he's been a bit, hunched over, a bit, has that like sort of unscrupulous, kind of look to him, very nervous. But he sees the prince, and then there's just a moment. Inhales, puffs out his chest, stands up straight, and immediately like turns on his very like forced cheesy swagger, and
He turns on the
starts,
charm. Excellent.
yeah, and starts walking up to the prince and is, I heard you needed a real hero.
The prince snorts himself awake as he like looks around and then sees Godot. He tries to look around to see where any of his visors are. They have all left the room, so they didn't warn him that this was going to happen. The prince tries to sit up, tidy himself up, tries to poke his robes back in. He tries to like flatten himself down a little bit, and then with a big huff of air, he's like, "Ah, yeah, you, you guy, yeah." He's like looking around for any kind of paperwork to see if he remembers who you are. He looks down and does see a note that says, Captain Mario Q. Godot. He swallows spit and then like rubs his eyes. He's like, I didn't think that was today. Okay. He gets on his feet. He like tries to puff himself up a little bit as he throws his hands out, and he's like, Mario, welcome to the kingdom of Trottelera.
Yes, if you call it a kingdom, I suppose. And he's sort of like, like checking his nails, or like, checking the polish on his nails. He's wearing gloves though, so it's purely
He's trying to look too cool for school. He's doing the Sonic the Hedgehog
exactly.
tapping his foot kind of stuff.
Oh, 100%.
Okay, the prince is huffing and puffing then. He's a little bit, even though, old Captain Mario Q, oh wow, I totally bungled that. Captain Mario Q Godot is, a tall, broad, adventurous figure. This beast man is towering over and wide in all directions, but he is an utter wimp in any other circumstance. Which is funny, because as he wipes his face and he moves up to you to shake your hand, he goes, right, you're just the guy to turn up at just the right time, because...
I always do.
No, of course you always do, because that's what adventurers are good at. Which is why you're here, because, Mario, I'm gonna be an adventurer as well.
Really?
Yep, really, which is why you're here, because you're gonna be my mentor.
Stupendous.
Yeah, he claps his hands together. Glad to hear it, because I got a little mission lined up for the two of us. You're gonna walk me through it. You're gonna be like my sensei. You're gonna teach me what it means to be a swashbuckler, an acrobatics genius, a master of charming people and persuasion. Because let me tell you, Mario, it has been a hell of a couple of weeks. People are telling me to get off the throne because they don't think I'm the true ruler. I try to bring magic back, and oh, that never happened because somebody died. A lot of people have died, Mario. It has been very upsetting these past few weeks. But I'm finally trying to put that behind me. It's time to stop inviting people over the castle, and time for me to finally do this job myself. Except in this occasion, because I need you to help me with it, alright?
Well, when people start dying, I do often find it best to simply put it behind me. So I see your logic.
No, exactly. See, this is why I invited you, because I need you to tell me what's right and wrong, alright?
A protege adventure of my own, you say? Well, I do see some potential in this, come to think about it, and Mario's sort of, stroking his mustache, and there's just like a little thought bubble, and you just see in his head he's going on a quest and just sending this hapless prince, into the dragon's den or whatever to do all the quests for him. He's seeing potential in this idea instantly.
Alright, that's pretty good then. He claps his hands together and he goes, alright, let me run you through it then, Godot. So, first things first then, he shows you a couple of different maps and stuff that he has drawn up himself to try and explain what the situation is, which is, so, there's this tribe, right, called the Hay Fever tribe, which they're a bunch of bandits outside of the kingdom, but very recently they hired on to work as tolling booth people for the task guard, and, well, I got a feeling that they might know where my missing mom and dad are. Oh yeah, by the way, that's the reason why you're here and why I'm ruler at the moment, is because my mom and dad went missing, okay? But I think they know where they are. But every person that I've tried to send over to speak to them has ended up either not coming back or coming back and having things stolen. It's been, I'm just sending the wrong people for the job, apparently. And then all this other stuff came up with, the magic band and all that. And, it just kind of got away with me. But I'm finally putting my hooves down and I'm going to get this thing sorted. So, what I'm thinking is, if we go to this tribe, maybe in incognito, and try and get, a word with the people who work there, then I can find out where my mom and dad are, we can start looking for where that is, and then we can get this whole thing sorted out. How do you think that sounds?
I see your logic. There is an old saying that I know the commoners tend to use. If you want something done right, do it yourself. However, There is a better wisdom in the land. If you want something done right, hire Mario Q. Godot.
See? That's why I made sure to hire you directly. That being said, it wasn't directly. It ended up going for somebody else, but don't worry about it. It eventually got to you, though, and that's the main thing. So, first things then, Mario. What do you want for this job? You want gold? You want, a house? I mean, what's your greatest desire?
And so Mario's eyes sort of he immediately looks up and starts thinking. And, he sees lots of potential, with this prince situation to exploit. Sure. Then, so what Mario then, after a moment of thinking, says, all right, Prince, I'll take you on, but here's what I need. Right, first, I need a house in the countryside. A modest estate, but comfortable, in the woods.
Okay.
And all the money, all the paintings and all the treasure that would be in the house, I need that loaded on a very small, very discreet, but very fast boat that can get us far away from here as possible. And most importantly, if you're going to be my protege, we're going to need to get you an outfit to match mine.
Oh, I always love going shopping for clothes. I do warn you though, they don't really make clothes in print size. That's okay. I'm sure I'll find somebody. But okay, so you want a house, but you also want a boat, and you want everything that's in that house on the boat, yeah?
Yes, except the foyer. Let that remain as is.
Oh, okay. Roll 2d6, and we'll add one for persuasion, and we'll add another one just because, yeah,
Yeah.
this makes sense.
Mm-hmm. 8.
Ooh.
5 and a 3.
Oh, and we're also adding 2 to that, so that gets us up to
Oh,
a
yeah, yeah.
10. Hey, well, there we go. That is a great success. He nods his head up and down. He goes, all right, I think I know a house that I can give to you. Well, it used to be a house of an old wizard, but, well, he's been in the dungeon for the past couple of weeks, and we're probably not going to let him out of there, so we'll let you have it, okay?
Stupendous. And then, Mario sort of turns back to the prince and is a bit hunched over, rubbing his hands together. Oh, this is an easy mock, that's for sure.
What was that?
I said, we'll have to introduce you to my friend Mark. He's another adventurer.
Oh, I would love that. Okay, right. Let's go let's go on a shopping adventure then, Godot. So,
Yes, shopping adventures are my second favorite. After the romantic ones, eh? And sort of nudges the prince in, the chest with his elbow.
I haven't had a lot of luck with love recently, and my dad kept telling me that I gotta find a princess at some point, because if I'm gonna be king, we need to be a royal family, but, I don't even know how to talk to girls.
There's your first lesson. All you need to talk to girls is enough money for them to pretend that you're interesting.
Oh, well, I do have a lot of money, so... Oh, okay. Well, that's a lot easier than I was expecting. Okay. He
Any
pulls
girl
out...
will be a princess for the right price, my boy.
Okay. He makes a little note on his. He writes that on the back of his hand with a quill. He makes a very serious point of that. So
You'll need a lot of backs of a lot of hands for all the notes I'm gonna give you, boy.
oh, that's okay. I got arms too. So you're gonna dress up Prince Pret then for this adventure. So what did you have in mind particularly?
So I wanted to get, him an outfit pretty similar to mine, a similar long coat, but maybe not quite, a sort of cap like mine. Not
Okay.
I want to get a matching red scarf for him, but not give it to him yet. Same for a fake mustache like my curly mustache. Just the foundations of my outfit right now, and we'll add the rest of the flash once he's earned it.
Okay. Alright, that makes sense to me then.
Yeah.
There are a couple of different tailors and stuff within the Kingdom of Trottelera. Unfortunately for you, the prince will pay for this stuff. So, yeah, the pair of you go to these different shops. He gets measured up, and yeah, he is a pretty big guy, so it does take quite a lot of material to dress him up, much like you. And much like a 80s shopping montage where he keeps coming out of the dressing room with different costumes on, looking at you like, what about this one? What about this one? The moment that he does come out looking like you, Captain Mario Q. Godot, he is just like, oh wow, I really feel like an adventurer in this thing.
You look like an adventurer, or half of one at least, or one and a half of one at your size.
Wow.
He throws his head back, laughing at his own joke.
Should I try and work on my heroic laugh?
Oh, you're not ready for that yet. Trust me.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, no, exactly. We don't want to start riding the bike until we put some stabilizers on. No, I understand. Okay. I will say that he probably brought a weapon with him from the castle. He probably brought a rapier with him because that is what he is used to
Okay, yeah, perfect.
using. Did you want anything outside of your explosive equipment and your adventurous kit?
I mean, if I could have, a sword like a rapier, something like that, seems appropriate. I didn't take the
Well,
signature weapon loadout thing. I considered that, but ended up deciding not to. But
hey, it's no problem at all. Roll 2d6 plus persuasion and plus another one because, yeah, this makes sense.
okay, 6 and a 3.
6 and 3 is a 9. We got that up to an 11. Yeah, you get a nice matching rapier from the castle as well. So add that. We can add that to your inventory as part of your treasures.
Perfect.
Excellent. Now, the two of you have been given. Well, the prince has a map. He knows where the hay fever tribe is. And he is essentially going to. He's going to kind of let you take the lead on this one. It's quite funny. You're like, he is this big old lummox of a lad, but obviously he's following behind you like a big shadow, just trying to follow you as close as possible to see, like, okay, what do we do? What do we do? I'll say getting out of the kingdom isn't too troublesome, but the woodlands leading to the hay fever tribe might be a bit of a challenge. Roll 2d6.
Roll 2d6. I will say a tidbit with Mario's outfit. He does wear high heels to make himself closer to over 6 foot, but I don't imagine we need to get that for the prince.
No, if the prince was any taller, he would fall over.
Yeah, Mario's probably only like 5'8", so, manlet territory, of course. But
I see.
Yeah, he needs those platform heels. Alright, 6 and a 3 again.
So that's a 9, so smooth with some complications. The two of you managed to make your way through the forest then, and you managed to make your way to the edges of the hay fever tribe. Here's something that you notice. They have almost like a town hall in this area that they have put together, and you can see that something is happening there. They are very busy at the moment, almost like they have a meeting going on. Complication is, though, the prince is looking to his side and he is seeing that there is quite a big warthog in this forested area who is sniffing around for truffles and is sort of eyeing the pair of you up like he might want to. Well, it depends what you two do next, essentially.
Yeah. So I imagine the prince points out this warthog to me.
Yeah, he does. He points at the warthog.
So yeah, Godot's just sort of confidently swaggering through the wolds. The prince taps on his shoulder and points, and he just, "Oh, sacre bleu! Yes, one of the mighty beasts of the forests."
I thought it was. He certainly looks mighty.
That indeed, a formidable foe, if I have ever seen one. And, Mario's thinking, like, that, I don't know if I want to get involved with that. But Princey boy, you want to be an adventurer. Perhaps this is a good opportunity for you to test your mettle against a wild beast. Now, this is formidable to be sure, but it would be a trivial matter for me. I think this would be an excellent first fight for you, my lad.
You want me to fight the warthog?
That I do. No, not fight the warthog. That implies a chance that it could win. I want you to conquer the warthog.
Okay, I can conquer the warthog. He's starting to run towards it then.
Roll. Yeah, as soon as he's, like, in front of me, I'm just gonna, like, sort of get behind a tree. Maybe climb it a bit to, like, get to safety.
Okay, that's good. Roll 2d6.
Yeah, alright. 6 and a 4. See, off to a good start.
Now, of course, the prince is a big old sap, but he has got some pretty, I don't know, he has got some muscle on him. So, like, the moment he runs towards this warthog, this poor warthog looking out the corner of its eyes, eating a big bush of berries, you just see the prince flip him over like a fridge and putting this poor warthog on its back. I will say, fortunately for you, this doesn't seem to grab any attention of the people in the little tribe towards you. So
nice. Mario's cheering from the tree. That's it, my boy. Strike first, strike hard, no mercy.
And what do I do now?
conquer it. Let it know that it has lost to you.
Roll CD6.
Yeah. 5 and a 2. Close on that one.
Oh, so mixed success.
Oh boy, this is gonna go poorly.
The prince kind of looks at the poor warthog. The warthog is crying as he is being flipped onto his bed. I don't know if warthogs can cry. I feel like in this situation...
I'm really just picturing Pumbaa, you know?
Timon!
Timon, why?
Timon, he flipped me over! This poor warthog is crying its eyes out, and the prince is, like, totally heartbroken by doing this. And he's like, alright, oh, I'm sorry, warthog. I thought that maybe you were going to attack me or something, so... Okay, listen, let me get you back on your feet, alright? I'm sorry for doing that. He flips the warthog back over then, and then he's just kind of like, alright, you can run away now, okay? And he tries to walk away from it. This warthog just rams him right into his back, and the prince goes flying into the village, hits the dirt floor pretty hard, which has created a noise.
What did I teach you 3 seconds ago? No mercy, the final lesson.
I'm sorry, I showed him mercy.
A mistake the warthog did not make. Perhaps I should make it my protege. He is, like, shouting at his at the prince.
Some people stick their head out of this hut to try and see, like, what the hell is going on. Is there anything that you would like to do in this situation?
Does the warthog seem to be, like, eyeing me up at all?
Oh, no, the warthog is basically, he has hit the prince and it is now trotted off.
Okay, so yeah, now I'm going to be, not running, but taking a very relaxed, confident jog up to the prince, following him.
Oh, well, there are some people who are looking over where the prince has landed, and obviously that might go south, depending if they do catch him. So you want to go and meet with the prince, and then what would you want to do after that? Like, pull him out of the situation? Or,
If no one spotted him yet, yes. But I'm trying to play this in such a way that, if something does go south, the attention, he will be seen as the aggressor, not me.
Okay, let's see if anybody notices him then. Roll 2d6 and we're going to remove 1 from this because...
Valid,
he did make it.
And I was shouting at him.
Yes.
6 and a 2. So 7.
So that's a 7 again. No one has noticed him yet, however, you can hear the sound of mobilization happening. So if you're going to pull him out, you're going to have to do it quick.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna get to, cover as close as I can and be,
Sure.
Quickly, my boy, join me in cover before they discover you and do unspeakable things to you as their prisoner, for they surely will.
Oh, I don't want that to happen! Roll
you do not!
Roll 2d6 again, and we'll add 1 to this for persuasion.
6 and a 1.
So that is a 7, so that is an 8. The prince does then, he scurries onto his little feet again, and he runs over to hide behind the building. As a complication, though, 2 people have come out to have a look around to see what the hell that was.
A difficult predicament you've gotten us in, I'm afraid.
I'm sorry.
So, now we should, Mario sort of stops for a moment and sort of looks around, and frankly, Mario actually isn't sure what they should be doing now. We've sort of wound up here, and he's kind of, lost any, He didn't really have a plan going in here. He was hoping the prince would be more proactively stupid than cowardly stupid, frankly.
Oh, you don't know the prince that well, unfortunately. The prince is just kind of like, look, There seems to be a lot of people in that hall, okay? Maybe they're having a meeting or something. If they have, like, a leader, we might need to, like, take them out of the room separately. Or, I don't know, maybe there might be somebody in there who knows where my mom and dad are, but I can't be, I can't say for certain until we get in there.
I see. Perhaps what we need is a distraction. You may notice when you made that noise and fell out here, these two nincompoops came out of their buildings to investigate. But there are a great many people in the building with the man we need to talk to. So perhaps if you made an even louder noise, all of those people would exit the building, leaving him alone inside of it for us to engage.
Okay, have you got any ideas on how to make a loud noise? I mean, I'm pretty good at shouting, but...
I do in fact have some explosive equipment, which I believe could include, which, I believe could include fireworks, or if not, maybe a simple stick or two of dynamite will do the same job.
That will definitely make a loud noise, I think. The prince is kind of looking, he's like, oh, that would definitely do the trick. Okay.
Yeah. And so Mario's going to hand him two sticks. Why don't you just stick these in the wall over there? And, he explains how to light it. And I will go over to safety, to take watch on the building to confirm whether or not they exit the buildings. And if they do, I'll give you the signal to come roundabout and join me. Now make sure you get your distance after lighting those fuses, young man. I need one assistant, not many pieces of an assistant.
Yeah, fair point. All right. You send him away then, and you want to put yourself in a position where, one, you're very far away from the explosion, and two, you can kind of see what the situation is at the moment.
Yes, yeah? Correct.
Okay. I will say there's not going to be any real downside to this, so I'll just let you have it.
Okay.
You move your way then into the village proper as you try and, you do as wide as strides as possible. You avoid the two guys who went out to see where that noise was, and they go, yeah, I guess it was nothing, as they go back into the meeting.
What fools they are. Oh no, sorry, he's not impressed yet. Oh, what fools they are. Mario just thinks to himself. He very much puts on a voice, for the benefit of other
of course
people.
He does.
Yeah.
You move a little bit past the windows as you can see into this meeting, and there is something very interesting to you going on in there.
Oh my.
One of the people who is part of this meeting, who seems to be leading the meeting, is an old gnoll. He seems to be dressed in tribal chieftain clothing, which leads you to believe that he is likely the leader of this tribe. The person that he's talking to is the Don of the crime family that you owe a debt to.
Oh dear, that's not good.
No, describe this Don to me. What do they look like?
Like if Vito Corleone was played by like an old Orson Welles, when he got really fat.
Okay, all he wants to do is talk about the French champagne and frozen peas. Okay. Alright. Yeah, you do see this old... he has slight points in his ears as well. He might have been... Well, he's likely a half elf. And yeah, just this big, overweight-looking guy in a suit and a little pork pie hat who is in the midst of speaking to this guy. I can say you can try and listen into what they're talking about, but you might need to get a little bit closer.
Yeah, I'll try and take a listen. I'll try and take a sneak peek.
Okay, roll 2d6.
I can do that. Oh no, a 1 and a 2.
Oh no! I'll say you'll get this then, but it is going to lead to a pretty big complication. You manage to get your way over to the window, and what you can hear inside going on is the gnolls kind of saying to them, "Right, so what's this offer that you've got exactly? Why do you need us?"
Well, it's very simple. We have one of our men there currently speaking to Prince Pratt. You work for the task guard. What we see is an opportunity for our crime family to move into Trotlera and make a lot of money. Oh, there's only so much money to go around, though. Yes, but if you want your business protected, and, you want to be able to continue to act without impediment here, then, well, I suggest you take it. And despite all the archers and the explosive experts that you have here, let me tell you, any attack on us, well, you have got an all-out war on your hands. Do you understand? You see the prince stick his head around the corner,
Oh no!
looking at you, and he says, "Hooray! I've lit the explosives!"
So, Mario is going to, can I don't know if you have something in mind already for the major complication, but,
I would say that the major complication is these explosives are going to go off, and this tribe and this Italian mob will essentially hell will break loose.
Oh dear. Can I don't know if this is appropriate. Can I choose to have Mario make him? Can I give him an additional failure? If that makes sense, because there's something I want him to do that I don't think he would choose to do.
If you want something horrible to happen to Mario, absolutely. Nobody has done this for me yet, but I am more than happy for you to say this. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I think Mario turns, concerned, is starting to hold up a finger to the prince, and as he, swivels, because I imagine he's climbed up to get a vantage point here, just immediately falls through the roof into the room. Just face plants into the meeting room, after not being able to say what he wanted to the prince.
So the first thing that happened, the first part of the complication is that the prince has told you that the explosives are set. The second problem is that, you try and tell him to shush until the fucking wall, the roof collapses through, and you fall in, landing on one of the mobsters.
Hello, chaps.
The Don looks at you with raised eyebrows, as does the Gnoll. The Don stupidly says, "Mario, what are you doing here?" Well, hold on. Are you telling me that he's one of your blokes? Yes.
Funny story about that.
Well,
and then turning back to the Don, we may have a bit of a problem here.
Roll 2d6 -1, because I'm going to fact your backstory into this.
Okay. Oh, double sixes.
Oh, wow. Okay, never mind then. Somebody was responsible for burning the hay fever tribe's areas quite often. This person was you. Fortunately for you, they never got a good look at the guy. So you have managed to evade suspicions from there. However, the Gnoll is still "What are you doing with people on the roof?" As the Don is looking at you and he goes,
"What is the problem, Mario?"
Well, Prince Pratt, right. He's about to really live up to his name, he is. His accent slides, it's just sort of a pan-European, caricature.
Sure.
But yeah, he's about to do something rather stupid, he is. However, I have a cunning plan to deal with this.
And what is your plan, Mario?
Right, gonna be honest, that was a bluff.
First things first, roll 2d6.
Yeah. 6 and a 9.
6 and a 9?
Oh, 6 and a 3. 6 and a 3.
6 and a 3. Okay, so that's a 9 then.
Yeah.
Okay. You have a look over to the corner, and you've seen, watching you through the window, slipping that accent is Prince Pratt, who looks very distraught by this situation. That's the complication. However, the Don is looking at you and going, I can give you a little bit longer to think of a plan. But, you may want to do it soon because... and he's looking around as the hay fever tribe look like they're about to arm up.
Sooner than you all might think. Well, and you see, the thing is, things have gotten quite out of hand. I think that, information has not been getting carried that has meant to be carried. And he's sort of pacing a bit closer to the window. However, what's important? And I'm going to say, I know how long the dynamite takes to...
I was going to say, this dynamite's going to blow up at some point.
It's my dynamite. I know how long I set the wires for. So I'm going to try and time this to, right before the dynamite goes off as best I can. And just... Okay. But what you have to remember is, duck and cover and just backflip out the window to the prince.
Roll 2d6 and we'll add one for flashy acrobatics and we'll add another one for your special something, as in you know how this stuff works.
Exactly. Oh, fuck. Oh, that went off. That went into my boot. I don't think I can read that.
Oh,
Can I re-roll?
You can roll again.
That's
okay,
fine. Yeah. Here. You know what? I'll use my boot like one of those dice cups.
Oh, yeah, like a dice tower. That's nice.
Oh, no. 3 and a 1. 3 and a 1. That's not good.
Now, you know your explosives better than anybody, of course. As in, you know how long the wires are, and you know how good, how big the explosions are going to be. What you did know in this situation is where the prince put it.
Fair.
You told the prince to put it in a crack that he could find somewhere, maybe a wall or whatever. He took that a little bit too literally, and literally put it next to the wall of this town hall.
No!
The blast of the explosion goes off. Not where you are, but it is enough to cause you to fly out of the window with some force. You hit the ground and you are winded as a result. Now, roll another 2d6 and we're going to add -1 to this.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Yes.
Oh no, -1 you say?
-1.
5 and a 2. That's rather unfortunate.
That is incredibly unfortunate. You look through the window, and the leader of the hay fever tribe and many of his men have been blown to smithereens, as has the Don of this crime family and his men.
Well, some wins, some losses.
The prince is looking over, screaming in terror as he wasn't expecting that to happen.
Mario standing up, ears ringing, unsteady on his feet. Right, good news, my boy. We've got those dastardly bandits. However, we need to flee with a great deal of haste. And he immediately starts, legging it in a really exaggerated manner.
Oh, okay. Roll 2d6 on this.
Ooh, a 6 and a 5.
Oh, that's an 11. Okay. The prince does want to, try and talk to you and ask, what the heck is going on. But no, you are very quick. And
I got flashy acrobatics.
You do have flashy acrobatics, so yeah, that does push you... Actually, that would push you up to a 12, so yeah, not only are you are getting out of there very quickly, the prince can barely catch up with you. Fortunately, the prince isn't going to get caught in this case.
I mean, frankly, if the prince dies too, at this point, it's a wash. So, yeah, really, it's frankly, if the prince dies, if anything, that might be a little good for me. So I'm gonna try not to think about that too much before I start trying to trick the prince into dying.
You get far enough away, though, that the surviving members of that Mafia family and the Hay Fever tribe come out, and you do hear them say, "Bloody Godot! He set those explosives off to kill us!"
Not technically, the prince set those explosives.
Do you want them to try and hear that, or are you trying to... Oh, roll 2d6 and +1 for persuasion.
Just like nails on the chalkboard, I set my mark upon the land. A 6 and a 4.
6 and a 4. Oh, so that is up to an 11 then. Oh, wow. The prince! The prince! We can't even see the prince! Who even shouted that? They can't see you, nor the prince.
Mario's just like, well, you know, could have gone worse. And so, yeah, Mario's gonna try and get to safety, hopefully regrouping with the prince on the outskirts of town.
You do manage to do that. Roll 2d6.
Okay. 5 and a 3.
5 and a 3, so that is an 8. The prince was about to sucker punch you, but you have been able to dodge out of the way of that. How do you want to deal with this situation? He is so annoyed by what you have done in multiple instances.
Now, in fairness, you were the one who set the charges on the side of the building. However...
You told me to put him in a wall!
Not that wall, of course. Any adventurer worth his salt knows that. However, I have...
Yeah, but I'm not! That's why I hired you to teach me how to do this stuff!
Failure is the greatest teacher, my son.
And why are you speaking like that? You were speaking differently when you were inside that hut.
You have to walk the walk and talk the talk as necessary. I was talking the talk to the less savory sorts, if you'll let me explain. You're too inexperienced to understand how to talk. I do, however, have good news for you. Oh, but...
Actually, yeah, okay. He's huffing then and he's like, okay, what's the good news?
They didn't know where your parents were because they were asking the Mafia for information about your parents, which they thought would be valuable. Godot lies. But thankfully, they're dead now. Well, most of them are. Some of them are. Enough of them are.
He's just kind of like rocking back and forth. He just looks like he wants to vomit, but he's just like, so they don't know where my parents are either.
Well, if they did, they're dead now. But they didn't, as I just said, because they were absolutely asking those Mafia folks where your parents were.
Roll 2d6 and we'll add 1 for deception.
Yeah, deception.
This is deceptive.
Okay, 5 and a 2.
Oh, so that's a 8 then.
Yeah.
He's huffing and puffing then. He will take you at your word, but then he moves his hands back and forth and he goes, okay, Godot, here's what's gonna happen next, okay? You can't come back to the kingdom, alright? I need to go into hiding after this because if they think that I killed those guys, which I didn't, because you told me to set the explosives, I need to figure out what happens next, alright?
My boy, that's like saying, I haven't killed all those people, my sword killed all those people.
But they were your explosives and you told me to put them in a wall!
Correction! I've never killed anyone. My sword and explosives have killed people, when you think about it, and you were but my sword.
Ah! He's like... I don't know. He doesn't know what to do. He's just freaking out.
My boy, calm down. For this is the way of the adventurer. we turn explosive results into profitable results. You see, they were asking the Mafia because the Mafia has kidnapped your parents, or at least these bandits certainly seem to think so, and from what I heard of them, the Mafia certainly did not seem any different. Now, we have a lead. If you use the resources of your kingdom to hunt down the Mafia, I believe that is the fastest way to find your parents, no? And if they feign ignorance or truly don't have any useful information, you can kill them or lock them in your dungeon forever.
Roll 2d6. I'm writing one for persuasion and another one just because I like this.
Oh, thank God we're adding 2, because I got a 3 and a 2.
Oh, so that takes us up to a 7.
Yeah.
Then. Okay. The prince, not knowing what else to do, just starts to cry. And he's like,
Yes.
I don't want to be an adventurer anymore.
And Mario's patting the prince's back. Don't give up now. You're doing so well. Those tears, those are the weakness of your squishy non-adventurer self leaving your body. When you've cried out all your tears, you'll be a hardened adventurer just like I.
I don't want to be like you. You're crazy.
Am I? Or is everyone else crazy?
I want to imagine he says that and it's like his eye is twitching as he says that. Oh, am I? Maybe it's the rest of the world that's crazy. No, the prince is like pushing you away and he's like, listen, Godot, I'm gonna leave, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna try and see if anybody else can fix this up, but I don't know, like, you come back here in a disguise or something in a few weeks' time once things have calmed down, okay, and I'll give you some gold pieces, but then that's it, alright?
By some, how many do you mean?
Roll 2d6.
6 and a 3.
That's a 9 then. I'll let you come up with a number, but there will be complications for when that happens.
Ooh. See, here's the thing. I have no idea what the scale of currency is.
You know what? Neither do I. I never figured that out. Economy has been in a bit of a flux since the king and queen have disappeared. So he goes, bro, that house is still abandoned if you want it, so you can have it, okay?
So Mario thinks on this. Scratch the house, give me the ship and enough money and resources to skip oceans, and I'll get out of your hair forever.
Okay, yeah, you can have the boat.
Deal.
You shake on it.
Yeah.
Very
Remember,
good.
those mafia guys know where your parents are, so I'd still definitely go on a crusade to, wipe them out. I mean, search for information. But, if they don't give you information, the best way to get information is by torturing them forever until they die. Or give you information,
Okay.
but,
He looks at the forest lining behind you and sees that surviving hay fever tribe and mafia members are starting to move through. He just starts to run away as fast as he can.
Mario will do this guy one solid, and I have another use of explosive equipment. I'm gonna, just set up a bunch of, dynamite explosive charge with a wire on the edge of the forest for a bit, and then call out to the village, "Oi, mates, the prince went this way, he did."
Okay.
And then just...
2d6.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 2d6 plus... We'll plus 2. One for deception and another one for traps.
Double 3.
Oh, so that is an 8 then.
So that's a partial success.
That's a partial success. They hear you say, "Oh, we came this way!" They start to run that way. They hit the wires, and literally this section of the forest and them turns to dust as particulate just fills the air. The prince looks back, still totally freaked out by this horrible adventure that he's been on, and leaves. I will say that you did buy him a solid with this one, which is they will no longer... Basically, anybody who found out about apparently what the prince did has now been completely eliminated. There are still members of this mafia family, though, that did send you over to meet with a prince, and if their don doesn't return, that will be on... They will have some questions to ask you. However, you have been given access to a boat and to some money.
Ooh, I have a great idea. Okay, so I have acrobatics. I want to catch up to the prince and shout something to him.
Go ahead.
So
I'll let you have this.
So I do call to the prince. Remember, they know that you, the prince, blew that up and will be looking for the prince. And know that I, Mario Godot, seemed like a pretty cool, rad adventurer. You have clothes and essentially a disguise of me. I recommend wearing it around the kingdom for a while until things cool down.
Oh, I knew that was going to be the payoff of that. Roll 2d6 plus 1 for persuasion.
I will like to point out this is something of a trap, too.
Oh, of course it is.
Wait, persuade. It's also deception of deceiving the mafia.
I'll let you either roll deception or persuasion.
It's fine. Fair enough.
Alright.
Oh god. A 4 and a 2. Getting a lot of mixed successes.
Okay. You won't know whether the prince does that or not.
Okay.
Then, as he
fair
makes
enough.
Distance.
Because I am hightailing the fuck out of this country.
Choo-choo!
Yeah.
So with that, I will say that is the end of this adventure for Captain Mario Q Godot. So tell me. You can tell me what happens immediately next, or you can tell me what kind of happens after this event.
Well, I think Mario gets on that boat, just sort of sets out, across the ocean, and I think he sort of does, like, with what money he can gather, like...
Yes.
He might even, like, stop by, try... I have fancy acrobatics, the prince is a bit of a softie. Can I actually throw in one last action? I'm gonna try and beat him to the palace, and, people at the palace saw me, the servants know I was there, and just say... the prince and I on our adventure, he sent me back because I'm quite a bit more nimble than him. We needed some money to, pay for some adventuring equipment. He told me it would be fine to just, take a bit.
Sure, roll 2d6 and we'll add 1 for persuasion and 1 for flashy acrobatics.
Alright. Ooh, baby! 6 and a 5!
Oh, baby, that's an 11. Tipped up.
That's a 12.
They nod awkwardly and give you access to gold and weapons or whatever you need.
Yeah, I just load that shit up in a fucking wheelbarrow and just sprint to the boat, load up, and gonna go kind of hopping from country to country, maybe changing boats and whatnot, keeping my money in like a chest, and just essentially gonna try and wind up in some obscure small country with, the cheapest alcohol and prostitutes and the strongest anti-organized crime laws card that I can find.
Okay. And I would say, will this crime family ever find you, or would you like to keep that up in the air?
I'd like to keep that up in the air. That's up to you. I think it's almost worse for Mario to spend the rest of his days looking over his shoulder, but,
Yeah, I think this is quite a terrifying ending for him. And there is the potential that we may see Mario Q Godot someday again. But
there is a potential. And if not, maybe one day, Prince Pratt, he's an old, he's a bit older, and he's sitting down at some cafe, and he looks across, and he sees, like, shaved mustache Mario Q Godot as the music swells, and then we cut to credits,
Prince Pratt says to his son that he always has a dream that he goes to a cafe, and one day he hopes to look over and see Mario Q Godot. And then one day, there he is with Anne Hathaway.
Yeah.
Where... Okay, and what happens next to the prince? We'll see what happens next episode with that, because that leaves stuff in a very interesting place, is what I'll say. But I think with that is the end of the adventure, and that is the end of Question Show for now. So, Em, how did you find it?
That was quite a bit fun. I feel, I went into this, like I said, hoping to make my mark on the world like nails scratching across a chalkboard, and I feel I did that.
You definitely have. You have made a mark, a very large, round, dusty mark in the forest of Trotlera, and a tribe and a mafia family have also been wiped out as well.
Let's hope the climate isn't California, or this is going to be like a gender reveal party in the summer, like some major fires, too.
They're going to look out over the hills and shout, "It's a boy," as they all go up in flames. That's great. I'm glad to hear it. And before we wrap up, are there any last plugs that you want to do?
Subscribe to James Hot Cider D. Subscribe to Snaker. If you're subscribed to Commentary Comms, frankly, I would suggest unsubscribing it, but you probably deserve to be subscribed to Commentary Comms. Shop at 7-Eleven, I guess, except I don't work there anymore, so fuck them. Yeah.
Okay.
Hit up my OnlyFans. There we go.
There we go. Well, thank you very much for being here, Em, and thanks for taking part. Okay, and with that is another episode of Question Show. If you enjoyed this, if you're watching this on YouTube, please leave a comment and a like below. If you're listening to this on a podcast app, a review would really help us. I've been James, and for another episode of Question Show, thank you, and goodbye.
Bye.